So what's going on, guys, and welcome back to the final episode of the Ultimate Guide to Dark Souls 2.
At least for vanilla Dark Souls.
At least for vanilla Dark Souls, yes. And in this episode we're going to be wrapping up the last of the single player in vanilla Dark Souls. We're going to take out Throne Watcher and Defender, we're going to take out Nashandra.
And we're going to wrap up a couple of quests at the end as well, things that you can only really do after Nashandra.
Yep.
That, we've obviously started. Now, put on the King's Ring and...
I don't know why we
open the
got
door.
weaponed.
You thought that you were insistent that a fucking Rune Sentinel's going to come round and hit you.
Ah.
For some fucking reason.
Well, there you go then. Well, better safe than sorry, alright?
Ah,
So,
okay.
the maiden is standing there, but feel free to ignore her like we do for the entire fucking campaign, because she's pretty much insignificant unless you want to pay attention to the drivel that is Dark Souls 2's story. But let's be honest here, guys. It's pales in comparison to
There's
the
just
depth.
there's too much speculation to actually make it.
Yeah. It's just, there's not enough depth in the story. It's all, well, I mean, if this happened and this happened, then maybe this happened.
Yeah, exactly. There's no
Whereas Dark Souls was, this happened, and it could have went like this.
Yeah.
But this is all maybe, if, maybe, and it's just not right.
Okay, so, Watcher and Defender, you can summon both Vengarl and Benhart. Now, you don't need to summon Vengarl because it doesn't do anything to his quest. It just doesn't really have a quest, so to speak.
Yep.
But with Benhart, if you summon him, this is the fourth fight that you can get him into to survive to get his equipment.
Yep, now Watcher and Defender, I'm going to quickly go over the weaknesses while we're here. Defender, which is the big guy with the big shield. The sort of more, I don't know, I would say bronze guy. He's weak to lightning and neutral to everything else. Watcher is strong to magic. That's the lighter, quicker one. Is strong to magic, weak to lightning, and neutral to fire and dark. So lightning would be your best for basically assaulting these two, but we're using the halberd because it's consistent damage.
Yeah. Basically now, when you're fighting Watcher and Defender solo, they can actually be fairly challenging. Most certainly more challenging than Nashandra. Basically, your main strategy for dealing with these two guys is sort of line them up, get one attack, get the other attack, and when they've finished their attacking animations, hit a few times, and then continue on, and then just kind of rinse and repeat that main strategy.
If you're lucky, you'll hit both. Now, of course, one thing you do want to do is bring their health down as evenly as possible.
Yeah.
Because when you kill one, it doesn't actually die. It goes into a sort of kneeling stage, and then after like 30 or seconds or so have passed, the other one will go into a state where it runs over, puts its hand on whichever one is down, and revives it to full health immediately.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's not immediate, it takes a couple of seconds. If you're doing enough damage, you can kill them during that channel time, but it's best just to avoid that entire scenario and bring them both down evenly, as you can see we're doing here. Watcher does take more damage than Defender. Watcher is a little bit more squishy, but faster, and Defender is more bulky and more turtly and stuff like that. So, now, both of these guys have an AoE, both of them have a grab, so just be wary of that. I've only ever seen Watcher's AoE, and I've only ever seen Defender's grab, so it might only be this one has this one has this. But, yeah. So, just be careful, guys. There's still quite a few moves in this game that we've yet to see. But
now, remember to keep both of them in the screen as much as possible, because you don't want to get, like, hit from the side from one that you can't actually see.
It's the Rune Sentinel strategy again, guys. Keep both of them in front of you. Keep both of them in a way you can see them.
Yeah.
Fight without lock-on if that makes it easier for you. As you can see there, we got a couple of hits into both of them, which is ideal. Needless to say, if you're using like a bigger weapon, like a strength weapon, oh, here's the grab, that's convenient, a rather anticlimactic grab. If you're using like a strength weapon, like say the greatsword, then you can easily hit both of them at the same time. Looking back on it, personally, I would have probably preferred to have used the greatsword, but...
Now, you can also use the Splinter Winds on the halberd pretty effectively here as well, so, you know, that's also something. I mean, they do take pretty decent chunks of damage. Now, we didn't want to finish the fight on solo because we wanted to complete Benhart's quest. So, now we are going to go back and...
do it again?
Yeah. We're going to fight Watcher and Defender with Benhart and Vengarl, just so you can see the difference between fighting them solo and fighting them with the summons, essentially. Both the summons are actually incredibly useful for the fight, honestly. They do make it so much easier. Obviously, there's some NPCs that just make a boss that much harder.
Benhart actually helps.
Yeah, he really does. Now,
plus, he's quite tanky when he's got both of them wail on him at the same time. What it allows you to do is basically, because both of them attacking Benhart at the same time does less damage to him in comparison to the amount of damage you can do to both of them at the same time.
Yeah.
If you hit both of them, like if Benhart's getting absolutely railroaded off both of them, walk up with your buffed halberd, two-hand it, and just hit the R2 button a couple of times, and you will see you'll do like so much more damage in comparison to what they're doing to Benhart that you'll kill them long before they kill him.
Now, to finish Benhart's quest, you do not need to get him to survive Nashandra. You only need to get him to survive Throne Watcher and Defender.
Yeah.
Now remember this, we could have gotten Benhart's armor and finished his quest in the Memories episode, but we find that it's quite hard to keep him alive against the Giant Lord, so he's actually got a much higher chance of surviving in this boss fight than the Giant Lord's fight. So, you know, just keep that in mind. That's why we're finishing his quest in this video, not the last one, because obviously we wanted to show you what it's like.
This is the other option. Like, we didn't do it with Lucatiel because Lucatiel for the Rotten is just not an option.
It really isn't.
There is no reason to ever do that. Don't ever do that to yourself. Don't put yourself under the situation where the only way that Lucatiel's questline can be completed is if she survives the Rotten, because it's just going to take you more tries than it's worth.
Exactly. It's just, it's fucking
horrible. It is not worth it. So, strategy goes as the exact same as it was at first. Run in, get a few cheap hits, run away. Let them aggro on Benhart and Vengirl, and then take advantage of their distracted position. Now, as you can see, they're taking significantly less damage because, of course, they're buffed for the sake of two Phantoms.
But you're taking significantly less aggro, so it balances out really well. And they do get in some fairly decent hits.
I'm also one-handing the halberd, so if you were to two-hand the halberd, you'd be doing like a considerable amount more damage. And if you were like really accurate with your sweet spot placement, like this, look how much damage you've done there in one heavy because of sweet spot placement. But yeah, like look at the damage I'm doing now that I'm two-handing it.
Yeah, much better.
It's strange. The halberd has C scaling strength, C scaling dex, but when you two-hand it, it does like double the damage that it usually does.
Yeah, it's stupid. And
I just traded some health for a buff, which in the end will be worth it.
Yeah, no, at least like because when you've got Vengirl and Benhart here, you get away with sloppy play really easily.
Yeah, that's like the main benefit of having Phantoms, is you can get away with it.
They are just both firing into Defender right there. They took a big chunk off his health, so...
Yep, and I've almost killed Watcher because of that. And boom, there goes Watcher, and down goes the Defender.
And, you know, Benhart still has like half health, so, you know, he's pretty
safe. And Vengirl's sitting at over 3/4 of his health.
Exactly, so we're going to black sign both these Phantoms out just so we can show you that they don't need to survive Nashandra.
Yeah.
To finish. Now, we're not actually going to do Nashandra with Benhart or Vengirl because Nashandra's actually just easier if you just do her solo.
Yeah, it's the longer the fight lasts, the more likely you are to make a mistake.
Yeah. So we are black signing out Benhart, and then we're going to feather out, that way we can get our Estises and that back.
Yeah, we're going to feather out as well because the boss fight started with Benhart in the arena. She's buffed for a summon, so we don't want to like keep her in that state because that's bad. We also don't want to use the Dark Halberd because Nashandra is strong to Dark.
Now remember, if you want, and you know you're not using the Greatsword or whatever, you can just use a Bolt Stone and turn the Dark Halberd into a Lightning Halberd if you want.
And then go respec for Sunlight Blade.
If you don't need to do the Sunlight Blade thing, you'll do enough damage just with the Lightning
if you're going to make the Lightning Halberd Lightning, go respec for Sunlight Blade. Otherwise, use the Greatsword and Pine Resin it. Because you'll do more damage with a Pine Resin Greatsword than what you will do with just a regular Lightning Halberd.
Yeah.
The only real reason I ever see for infusing anything is if I'm going to run a spell buff of the same element, because otherwise it's just not worth it.
So fast forward just to the boss fight because you don't need to see us run there. Yep. As you can see, just from that little glimpse there, you can get the summons in for this fight regardless.
But you don't need them.
Now, Nashandra is so simple, really.
There's only two things you have to do. Run in, hit her a bunch, break Curse Orbs, run in, hit her a bunch.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. Now, you don't even need to break most of the Curse Orbs.
You can break two?
No, you can break one. All you need to do is break one, and then...
I forgot I'd done this.
If you break one, you can drag her like diagonally away from the one, across from the one you broke, and then you can't get cursed by the orbs, as you can see from what we just done. Yeah,
you can pull her away. Now, you're going to have to get as far away from her as possible, because when you're within a certain range, she does this attack.
Now, we were playing really sloppily here, this is an issue. In the other footage, we didn't play anywhere near as badly as this. Her attacks are actually much easier to dodge than we're letting on. Just dodging to the side, not backwards, because she can actually clip you if you roll backwards, but dodging to the side. If she lifts her arm up,
she's going for her little laser beam.
Or the AoE.
You can tell which ones are AoE because she focuses more on her palm, her hand glows a lot more. And I think her chest glows a bit as well. So
regardless, if she lifts her hand up, roll to the side so you can't get hit by the laser beam, and then just roll away further away. And that is easy. I mean, you just saw how much damage we were doing. That is the last boss of Dark Souls 2.
Yep, final boss, guys. But yeah, Nashandra's a piece of cake.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know why we had so much trouble with her on our first blind run.
Because Gary was an idiot. He could have ended that so quickly. And then I think I accidentally fell off the edge. I'm not sure.
I'm sure Gary had already beaten Nashandra at that point as well, and he was just fucking about for the sake of being a retard.
Maybe. So now we're back in Cardinal Tower Bonfire, and now that Ben Hart survived the boss fight from Throne Watcher and Defender, and that's him. He actually survived 4 out of the 4 boss fights in our run.
We wanted him to as well.
So remember, he only needs to survive 3 out of the 4 times you can summon him. Yeah. And 2 of them are like, he's pretty much guaranteed to survive. But yeah, so to get Ben Hart's stuff, you want to run back to the memory that you find them in.
I think it's Memory of Oro. Is this one, is it not?
I think this one's Memory of Jay, actually.
Isn't Memory of Jay the one that you fight Giant Lord in?
Oh shit, it might be actually.
I think this is Oro.
I think we'll see after the load.
It doesn't tell you.
Does it not?
Nah, it doesn't tell you.
But it doesn't matter.
I mean, in fact, no wait, it will. It will tell us, but I mean, this is like after the loading screen that you cut out, so yeah.
And it is in Memory of Oro.
There you go then.
Okay.
Memory of Oro. So now we're going to go talk to Ben Hart, and he's going to be like, oh, you helped me in the future. Here, have my stuff.
Yeah, so you get all the stuff that way, and that's Ben Hart's quest. Bang, done.
What sort of fucking English quest line have they written?
I don't know, it doesn't make any sense.
All backwards.
Because this is a memory. So this is in the
past.
past.
Press F to show respect.
Press F to memory. But anyway, so now we are back in Medulla, and we've got another thing we want to do. Now, before we do Navlan's quest, we've got Kale's quest to do. So, if you've beaten all the bosses, you can come and speak to Kale, and he'll give you his equipment.
It's not all the bosses, it's once you've beaten Nashandra.
There's like a couple of other bosses. I'm not sure if Vendrick or the Dragon count, but
they don't.
By the time you've beaten Nashandra, you've beat all the other bosses that you need to beat to get to him anyway. Unless you've done like the million soul memory thing to get through Shrine of Winter. Otherwise,
yeah, you have to defeat the 4 old ones and Nashandra.
And a couple of other bosses.
And Vilstat. That's it.
But yeah, so I'm pretty sure the Prosture, the last Giants one as well. Anyway, the point is we've got his stuff, and now because we've got Kale's equipment, we are going to go back to Navlan and Aldea's Keep. Now remember, you need to be at least 1 bit hollow to speak to him.
Yeah, so make sure you are hollow. Now the good thing is there's kobolds outside the first bonfire, which you can just aggro and let them kick the shit out of you or curse you or whatever you want.
Yeah.
The point is you want them to kill you as quickly as possible so that you can just recover, go straight to Navlan and talk to him. That's why we're at 0 souls right now.
So remember, we've already given Navlan the ladder miniature that we bought from Gilligan. Now,
and
remember,
the sunset staff as well.
No, that's after.
No, we got the sunset staff outside.
Yeah, we've got the sunset staff. Yeah, so I mean, you get the sunset staff for Falcon's one outside in the mimic chest. So we've shown him Kale's helmet, so he's given us the Simpleton Spice. We show him the sunset
this
staff.
Is Falcon now.
So this is why we can only do this.
You get Kale's helmet after Nashandra, otherwise you have to kill him to get it.
Yeah.
Which means that to complete his quest line, you either need to kill Kale or wait until you completed the game. So we've completed the game, so now we're gonna kill. Now we don't need to kill Kale. We can do Navlan's quest line.
Yeah.
Which would go by a lot quicker if he asked you for the sunset staff before Kale's helmet.
Now remember, and then that's just the stuff that he sells. Which if you want to see that, you can go and
and now you completed his quest line, you can speak to him and get chaos.
Now remember that. Fuck, what was I going to say? Yeah, remember that if you don't care about killing Kale or not, if you kill him, you can do this quest as soon as you get the feather off the Emerald Herald.
Yeah, you can complete this quest by Dragon's Eyrie.
Yeah, so you can do either Dragon's Eyrie or at this point in the game, either or. That's
if you're
the
also,
earliest, this is the latest.
If you're also interested, and I mentioned this in a few videos ago, like we're going to finish up Navlan's questline here where he invades.
Yeah, so this is Navlan's invasion side of the quest.
Yeah,
so remember,
if you are interested, you can do that. Remember, to get invaded by Navlan, you just have to pull the lever on the opposite side and free him and then speak to him, and he will invade you. That is all you have to do.
I don't think
do
you
that.
even need to speak to him. I think
You
just
do. You speak to him.
You pull the lever and then he just.
You speak to him so he knows that you're his target.
Anyway, all we are showing you here is the 2 invasion points that you don't naturally come to after pulling the lever.
Yeah, like the rest of them we've already went through throughout the game.
His other invasion points, you go there and on the natural progression through the game.
Of course, if you have beaten the game and then you've spoken to Navlan after you freed him, so you can do both of his quest lines, like I'm sure some people will do, then you can, of course, just go back through the game again, really, and fight him.
Yeah.
He shows up. Where is it? He shows up. He shows up in Drylake Castle. He shows up at the memory of Jay. In Cardinal Tower, like next to the outside the Giant memory where you fight Giant Lord. The Gutter is another one we're gonna have to go to.
Yeah, we do that after this.
Aldea's Keep, where he shows up pretty much immediately in Aldea's Keep after you've spoken to him. Let's be honest, shows up before the boss fight. And where's the 5th invasion? Dragon's Area is the other one that he shows up in. So those are the 5 points. So the only ones that you would have to go to really would, well, I mean, wow, 2 hits.
Yeah, basically he
got poisoned.
Yeah, he ran through the poison and got poisoned.
So that's how you beat Navlan in Dragon Lake Castle.
Not that this even matters, because you don't get anything from killing him when he invades.
You don't get anything at all.
The only basically the other side of the quest is that you can do his. You can either just not talk to him, do his assassination quest, or if you free him, then it's like, haha, fuck you, now you're gonna get invaded. Yeah.
But basically, like the only real quest line worth doing is the one where you actually get all the stuff for him, because you get his armor, you get Forbidden Sun, and you get his armor set at the end of it as well. Whereas doing the invasion quest line, you get neither of these.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's not worth it. And of course, you need to be careful with Navlan, because he seems to have these amazing hexes, and you can't stop him casting. Like, his casts, like as soon as he gets past that initial moment of casting, his spell goes off, so you really need to be careful with that as well.
Now that we've done that, that's it.
The guide.
That's us. We have mentioned every single bit of armor and weapon and item and fucking everything.
We've mentioned everything worth mentioning. We've mentioned all enemy drops. We've mentioned a pretty easy way to go through the game. We've got you to soul level 150, which is perfect for PvP if you want to abide by the meta.
And that's
it, guys. So there is no last episode. There is no. Well, in fact, there's a last episode, but there is no next episode.
I guess the next episode will probably be the DLC. That's what we're going to end up moving on to now.
I think the next episode should loop you back to part 1.
Well, if you want, but we're definitely going to bring the DLC.
Put the next episode to loop back to part 1, because the DLC can be its own ultimate guide to the Dark Souls DLC. But this is it, guys. This is the end of it. We've helped you. We've done as much as we can. Now you must fly yourself, little birdie.
So we're just going to leave it there. You know the whole spiel.
The usual dribble. This is a climactic moment, and we will not ruin it with self-promotion.
Exactly.
But seriously, guys, like, comment, subscribe, the usual shit.
But yeah, we hope you enjoyed this guide. We hope that it was helpful, and I guess we will see you in the next part of the guide that we'll bring, because there's a few more things that we want to cover. So
yeah, including some ultimate guide extras like we did for Dark Souls 1.
Yeah, exactly.
So yeah, we'll see you guys in the next video.
Bye.